All right, welcome to the WTF Divorce podcast. Today we are lucky to be joined by Alyssa Dineen. Alyssa is a dating coach and the founder of Style My Profile NYC. Thanks for being here today, Alyssa.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes, we were just saying, it's frustrating, but this is the fun part of divorce when you get to the other side and you're like, now dating, this is what it's all
Yeah.
about. I can meet
Yeah.
somebody
It should
else.
be. It should be the fun part. Yeah.
It should be. But I always say it's like giving, a kindergartner keys to like a Ferrari and being like, okay, go drive now. You got this?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Why are you doing it right?
yeah, it looks so fun from here. I can't imagine why you didn't meet you'll meet somebody. That's what everybody says. I think
I
there's like
know.
a big disconnect of like the
Yeah.
experience somebody's going through when dating after divorce and the reality of it. And that's why
Yes.
experts like you are so valuable.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. There's a huge disconnect.
Yes. Your married friends don't get it. That's one of our taglines.
Nope.
Yes.
Not at
Well,
all.
well, we got a lot of questions, so we picked a few here for you to answer. And we're doing this every month, so it should be a good series where people that are listening right now, if you go on to Instagram, you can submit your question and we will pick a few to get it answered. First question we have: why is dating after divorce so intimidating?
So, yeah, it's intimidating because it's unfamiliar. And most people who are dating after divorce have probably not dated since, their 20s, theoretically, and probably before cell phones and dating apps even existed. So, there's a learning curve and there's fear around that. And then also the media has made online dating sound absolutely horrible. I mean, between all the scammers and the Tinder swindler and, all of those things. But as I say, the media wants the most exciting, sensationalist stories to tell, of course. Like the love stories aren't as interesting and fun to tell. So, I think that it gets a bad rap. And so people are fearful of it, which I get. Yeah, it seems scary and daunting.
And it can be scary and daunting. I think that's
Mhm.
part of it's the other thing too. Divorce in general is terrifying, daunting, but you've done it. You've done something that is
Mhm.
so scary. You're on the other side, so you've kind of like inoculated yourself to like this kind of discomfort. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I think it's important to be willing to fall on your face a little. I think that's part of the
right.
process.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you see? I mean, another one of our questions is how soon should I start dating after divorce?
Well, and I think this varies with everyone, and it depends on kind of what stage you're at. But as I say, I was ready to date about 45 seconds after I left my marriage, and I was like ready to jump out there and meet new people. And not everybody feels that way. A lot of people need a lot more time. And I've had clients come to me saying, they've been divorced for 8 or 10 years. So it really is your comfort level. And, but I think that what's important is that you are ready and that you're okay with, there is rejection involved, of course, with online dating, and you have to be, ready to handle that. So you can't be too raw. And really just an outlook of wanting to just get out there and meet new people and not thinking of it as like, am I going to meet my next partner? It can just be, I'm going to have a fun night out, or I'm going to go meet someone for a coffee, maybe meet a new friend. You never know. So just it's all in how you approach it.
Yeah, that's a good reframe because I even see on the apps, it's like, what are you looking for? And it's long-term relationship, marriage, or is it casual, fun, one night stand? And I think that
Yeah.
paralyzes people because it's like, I don't really think I want either of those, but I
Yeah.
want to have fun and get out there. Can you speak to
Yeah.
that a little?
And there's a huge gray area there. And I think that in the beginning you could be, just wanting to have one night stands, but that, can quickly move into, okay, now I'm ready to date someone, maybe not seriously, like we're talking about marriage, but, more than just, one night stands. So there is
Hmm.
a big gray area there.
How do you advise some of your clients to handle like those conversations or even writing that on the app? Like when you go on a first date or talk to somebody, how do you communicate that to
Yeah,
somebody?
I really recommend being really upfront if you're brand new to this, because I think people appreciate the honesty, and also they've been there at some point, whether that was, a month ago or 6 years ago, they've also been there. And I think it, sets people up to be a little more gentle with you, on that first date. And I think then also they know that you're brand new and you're probably not ready for anything too serious. So I think it's kind of a warning, not a warning, but an alert to people like, okay, this is probably someone who wants something. They're probably easing into it.
Right. And there is something to be said for you might not even want to meet, your person that first month, 3 months of
Yeah.
whatever, right after divorce, because you're probably not ready for what that entails.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I tell my partner now we've been together. We met on Tinder and we've been together for 7 years. But I joke around all the time like there's no way I would have been ready for you if we'd met right away. Even within the first year, I don't think I would have been ready. So yeah.
Do you advise clients when you always hear like, oh, don't, and I've heard men are guilty of this. Maybe they're even still married when they're on the apps, or they're brand newly separated, or their divorce isn't final. Any tips on how to navigate like talking to somebody like that?
That I find that so interesting because there's people that feel really strongly about not dating anyone who's not officially divorced. And then there's the people that are fine if you're just separated and on your way to be divorced. Um, for me, it was like when I became single, I mean, our divorce was, I mean, we were basically should have separated 5 years before that. So it was so like, there's no question that this was happening and there was no going back. And, it was just a matter of getting it all finalized. And I think a lot of people are like that, right? So to me, I was confused by the people that were not comfortable dating me until my divorce was actually final. And I was like, well, that could take years. So I think really it's all depends on the person you're dating. But I think obviously being clear about that because there are the people that feel very strongly about it.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing you say that because the statistics show that women do initiate 70-80% of divorces. And it also say that they've kind of checked out or disconnected from their marriage 2 years plus before that. So I could see how a woman is like, I'm already like, I've gone through a
Yeah.
lot of my healing. I'm ready. And maybe
Yeah.
that's where men, they're a little bit more blindsided. It is rawer for them. So I
Hmm.
could see how
Hmm.
it could be a little bit of a red flag if the guy, and I've been this guy, was 3 weeks out of divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas, the woman is like, oh, for 3 years I've been, going to therapy and figuring out myself. And this guy is just like thrown into the jungle and he might not be ready.
Yes. Yes. Agreed. Agreed. I would say that more women are probably had been thinking about it a lot longer and are prepared, right? So
Yeah. The key is that you learn that you probably didn't do in your marriage is over communicate, have these uncomfortable conversations. Earlier, the better.
yeah. Yes. Definitely.
One more question here. Where should I look to start dating? Because dating apps are getting me nowhere.
Yeah. I love this question because I feel like it's kind of the moment right now. There's very much a collective feeling of dating apps are horrible. um, so whether you've been doing it, for years or you haven't even started, I feel like there's just this kind of general consensus that it's terrible. And while I still believe in dating apps, and I do believe they work as long as you have a strategy and that you have support and all of that, but that being said, I think we're really working with clients to encourage people to get out and meet people in real life, whether that be through like an alumni group for your college or your high school, or reaching out to everyone saying, set me up with anybody I'm really willing to meet with anyone. And you have to be willing to meet with anyone. And reminding people, because I think people forget. If it's not top of mind, they will forget. They'll know someone's single and not even think about it to set you up with that person. It's just human nature. So just reminding people, going out with friends more, going to events, like signing up for events where there's like a cocktail hour or something like that. Definitely meetups. Running clubs are hugely popular. And I know that sounds so cliche. That's become really big with men and women. So whether you're into running or not, but hiking clubs or meetups and that kind of thing. And I think during COVID, people got so reliant on the dating apps, which of course that makes sense. And I feel like people are starting to feel a little bit, disempowered by that. Like this is the only way I can meet people is through these stupid dating apps.
Hmm.
And I think giving people other ideas and other avenues to meet someone makes them feel like they're not just solely relying on these dating apps. And then I think that makes them feel a little more empowered and positive about dating.
Yeah, so many great points there. The alumni club is a great tip. I hadn't even thought about that because chances are once you hit your 40s, there's going to be a lot more people that are divorced.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
the other thing you said that I still struggle with is like you have to be the one to initiate with your friends and say, "Hey, can you set me up?" And to be persistent because we
Hmm.
talked a little bit about rejection from dating, and that can come with like, "Oh, I can't think of any." You can get rejection, these little micro
Yeah.
rejections
Yeah.
from friends, so you
Yeah.
have
That's
to
true.
kind of build up that like this is just I've got to make a lot of asks, I've got to be persistent about it. They're
Yeah.
probably
And
not
be,
thinking about it like we are.
and I think, on the flip side, the people that you're asking, a lot of people don't want to suggest it because they don't want to be pushy. They don't want to assume that that they just, people feel uncomfortable. It's like sometimes like it feels like a personal thing. So they may not initiate a setup. Whereas if you come to them and say, I'm willing to do this, it will happen.
Right. And manage your expectations. They're definitely not all going to go well, but
Yeah.
those bad dates and those matches that just are not right will help you give some context that you've never had about, oh, I like this about this person, but not going to do that again. And now I'm
Hmm.
going to look for somebody that has these qualities. If you just, you know, marry the first
Yeah.
person you meet, you're going to have no idea.
Right, right. Yeah. And I think that, the kind of the bad experiences that people may have on the dating apps is pushing people to be more open to like, okay, I guess I have to put myself out there in some other way. So that means I need to do A, B, or C.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Very helpful here. Alyssa, tell people where they can find you.
Well, my website is stylemyprofilenyc.com. And then my Instagram is at Alyssa Dineen and at stylemyprofilenyc.
Yes, everybody go check out Style My Profile NYC. She's got a free quiz that you can find out which apps are best for you, a checklist that'll go through your profile. So tons of great information out there. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for being on today.
Thank you so much.